Hey, it's me. I'm making a craft video, which I haven't done in forever. But I had to make a quick birthday card. So this is a mostly one layer card, pretty easy, but nice and vibrant and fun. And I really enjoyed making it, and it's quick. It took me like a half hour tops, and I'm really crappy at this. So if you're good, it'll take you even less time. I'm using 4 colors here. I am using Fake Tan from Lawn Fawn. 2 colors that I can't remember the name for are kind of magenta color and a blue color from Ranger, and then freshly cut grass, also from Lawn Fawn. As you can see on the right there, I have a stamp block with different sized stars, which I'll be using to sort of scatter around and make a background pattern. The stars are different sizes as well as different patterns on the stars, so that makes a nice fun background. It adds variation to each block of color that's not just the star size. So I'm going to speed this up a bit, because just kind of going in and placing a couple of larger stars, then moving down in size and filling in the space. So before I fill in the little gaps there with the smallest orange star, I add a few of the next color, which is that magenta Ranger color, so that I know where my break is in between the orange and the pink, so I won't kind of overshoot when I'm filling in with that smaller orange star. I'm just gonna go ahead and speed things up here. I'm gonna fill in the gaps. I don't want it to be too thick, too full of stars. I want there to be some white space. I want it to look evenly spaced, almost kind of like a confetti look. And I think I do an okay job here. There's some areas where I think I could have spaced things better, but again, it's kind of a background, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, because the process is relatively the same for all of the color areas. I start off with the largest star and then move down in size, filling in, obviously, the smaller the star, the more of them there are. I also try to mix in some of the colors. As you can see, I'm putting some of the pink stars down in the blue area to give the illusion of like a fade. Because I don't have a huge amount of ink colors, I kind of had to go with it. This would have looked much better, and I've seen a lot of different much better card makers make cards like this where the colors are a little bit closer, so that it's more of a faded sort of rainbow gradient look. But since I don't have a huge amount of ink colors, I decided to pick the ones that were the most vibrant, that I thought would look the best on a black background, and the colors that looked nice together. For instance, if I had a better purple color, it would look nice in between that magenta and the blue. But the purples I have are more, I only have like 2 purple dye inks, and they're kind of in the lilac family. So I couldn't do it, but I think this turned out okay with the colors that I have. Also, you'll notice I'm stamping on the Mini Misty. I'm not actually using it for stamp positioning right now, but I just like the springy base to stamp on. I do use it later though. Next, I'm going to create my card base. This is just a standard 4 1/4 by 5 card. Is it 4 1/4 by 5? Yes, 4 1/4 by 5 folded card. I think that's an A4. I'm also going to just use the paper cutter to score the card. I don't have a separate scoreboard. And honestly, the little divot in the paper cutter works great to score cards. I'm going to go ahead and score it and use the bone folder to fold it down. For the greeting on the front, I wanted to try a couple of different ones. At the top of the screen there, you'll see a block stamp. It's got a little happy birthday script on it. And then I was also using a sort of a smaller typeface happy birthday greeting from a random stamp set I had. And I'm using the bone folder to move them around because they were sticking to my fingers. I did actually use the Misty for this just because it's easier to position with a Misty than with a acrylic block. I'm prepping the card for embossing with a powder tool, EK Tools powder tool, but realized that I'm using black cardstock, so it looks super ashy when you use the powder. I wonder if there's another solution for doing anti-static kind of card prep when you're using a black card, because the powder looks, I had to like really wipe it off. You'll see later. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink up this first possible front sentiment with Versamark ink, stamped down with the Misty, and then I'm gonna cover that with Hero Art's white embossing powder. I really like this embossing powder. For the longest time I was only using the WOW embossing powders because they're cheap and I'm cheap and I don't craft that much. But I finally broke down and bought at least one nice one, which is this Hero Arts, and I really like it. It definitely is a better product. So I'm going to use my crappy old Nicole heat tool to heat up that embossing, and it's very clear which is the winner. It's the bottom one. Next, I'm going to take that panel that I stamped and cut it down with the Simon Says Stamp stitched rectangle dies. I thought this would add some nice interest to the panel, but as you can see here, you can't even really tell that it's got stitching on it because the damn card is so busy already. But whatever, you can tell if you're looking at it in person. My idea was to pop this up from the card base using foam, so I added some Tombow multi-glue, but it was like bowing, and the card actually is 80 pound, not 120 pound, because I didn't have any 120 pound, so it was just too heavy for the card base. So I decided to take the panel off the foam and just adhere it straight onto the card base, and it actually looks really nice. I didn't completely waste that glued up foam piece. I used it to pop up the sentiment from the front of the card rather than the whole panel itself. So as you can see here, I am furiously wiping off all of that ashiness from the anti-static powder tool, but it works. I just wonder if there's maybe a slightly better way to do this, because actually I tried to rub it off on the other sentiment, the other happy birthday, and it ended up rubbing off some of the actual embossing powder, which sucks. So adhering the sentiment to the front of the card here, kind of sliding it around to make sure I get it in the right position that I want. Again, the foam was bowing a bit. I must have put way too much glue on because I've never had this problem before. It wasn't kind of laying flat, so I just plop some stuff down on top of it to make sure it had that weight on it to adhere it. I'm going to write on the inside of this card with a white gel pen, and that's it. That is the card done. So if you like this video, you like this card, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully I will be making more art videos soon. See you later.